They drug him out of there, and then
Take so long.
our Cox,
That was your first mistake.
when we were, when we were kicking and I started at that metal door, he was just, he
I
went
know
down.
the first
He was
alarm
done.
was at
We had kicked so many
12:23,
doors in.
and the poor Antion family, they only checked into the hotel at
Then
midnight.
you were on the north side.
At midnight. They were barely in the room, brushing their teeth at the hotel.
Connected to, like we were there just within minutes,
Sure.
And people were hanging out the windows and just as I went over the hose up on top of the building.
We kept on
this
going
lady
north.
Carmen Luca, she's 17 years old. She had braces. She read all the
She
reports.
almost landed on me.
Frank was
Oh,
good.
Lord, I mean, here she comes. And this
We started, we had a pretty good hose,
I don't remember seeing it yet.
went up probably 3/4 of the way up that first
Read all the autopsies.
stairway, and the damn
It just,
hose went limp.
I never seen anything like
Dove
that.
down to the,
Because that stuff
flame
was right in
escapes
front of
came
stone.
come
Yeah,
back.
It was almost.
I made the standpipe right there and the hookup right there in front of the building.
It was rolling in those
You couldn't
holes.
hook up to the. So we,
That has
we,
affected
Frank
still
went over to
still
the
have
same
memory.
Well,
Bad memories.
That's the most.
Yeah,
But,
and he had some rope.
I told you there,
The
ladder,
figure eight.
set the ladder right in windows in the people.
He said, it's not gonna go anywhere now, so he turned the water back on, so we were getting
We
water,
have
we
no
go
problem
back
getting them on the ladder.
the stairs.
In fact, all we
And
have to
fighting
do
the
is
fire
start
wasn't
with
a long time. The damn hose went and the flames came back
It comes back, yeah, because that stuff was.
and rolled down to the floor, and I started to get lightheaded. Yeah, we started kicking the door. I wanted to get some oxygen.
Were any of the people at the party, the Hughes aircraft party that was going on that night, were they ever in danger at all, or was it always above them?
Mezzanine on down to where squares were
I see.
sitting right here. That's where we got air packs and
Uh-huh.
to change out. All I know is I was sore for 2 weeks. My shoulders were so sore.
I broke my ankle kicking one of the doors.
Oh,
And
geez.
that, the good part is I got a Christmas vacation. And I got put on vacation.
Probably the worst part is to go in the doors and see bodies huddled together. The door was open, and that's how they got under the window. They never made it out. Or then you look out the east side and see where the mattresses were thrown. People jump.
Yeah, that's what.
When we arrived, parked by ladder one, a woman just jumped. She wasn't going to wait for that ladder to get to her.
Not with one match, but Bill said during the investigation, it took about 5 or 6 matches.
Kicked the door, kicked it, and then I had to dive down to the floor, get some, take a couple of breaths, and then kicked it again, and then when I opened, had to push the door because it was bodies, stepping on bodies, and I could see the light where the window was and the Venetian blinds, and I yanked them down, and there was a casement window to get air. So and people yelling.
Thank God.
Those little things you think about it afterwards, mentioning where your fire escapes are, but if people would maybe put wet towels underneath the door instead of, and waited patient instead of opening the door and the flames to feel the door, because that fire was rolling.
The people that kept their doors closed just were the ones that survived.
Well, people on the floor, on the ground were yelling, "Don't jump! Don't jump!"
That's right.
But I guess so many people had jumped.
That's right.
Yeah, they had that wasn't too good. Although I don't know if the story was true about the guy sitting on the window ledge
Dr.
contemplating
Ford.
jumping, and here comes a woman down the drain pipe
His wife.
and said, well, if she can do it, I can do
She
it.
got her toes stuck
Down
too.
to the 35 foot, I think.
Yeah,
Ladder,
that's right.
yeah.
She's wearing a Nike.
That was the one.
Is that in the back?
Yeah, I don't know what store. It was the third floor roof.
Yeah, she was on the 8th floor because she was right next. They were right. Dr. and Mrs. Ford were from Casa Grande, Christmas shopping, and they went to a wedding as well, although she wasn't feeling well, so they weren't able to go to the wedding. And they were in the room next door. They were in room, I believe, 802, right next to the Antions, who were in 803. And the report that I read was they were sitting out of the windowsill, and at the same time, Jose Antion was in the windowsill of 803, and he was a little boy, and he was panicking, and they were trying to calm him down. And that's when they started going down the drain pipe.
That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Grab a hold of some drain pipe.
Well, they didn't know whether it did.
We have the Franklin, who's our public relations guy. We called him Wella.
Captain Franklin?
Yeah, the reason we called him Wella was because whenever he was interviewed, his first statement was voila. So you know how firemen are, so we all called him Wella. Well, he was at the press club, also press for the sports jacket. And he ran down there and got a bunch of civilians to put up the 45 foot weighs about 350.
Yeah.
They put it up upside down, so then Pete Trujillo, God rest his soul, Ida Apodaca, God rest his soul, and Franklin, God rest his soul. They climbed up it, and the locking balls, the dogs were upside down.
It wouldn't fall.
So they got up there, and Apodaca and Pete went off. Apodaca landed on top of Pete. He broke his ankle. So Pete had severe internal injuries. Never came back. He was screwed up. Bob Jones and Lenny Berline were on the third floor looking up. What the hell is that guy upside down screaming? His sports jacket was going down. They heard him screaming, "Get me off there!" And someone said, "My God, that's Wella." Well, he actually ended up having a heart attack and blew a blood clot. He had a blood clot.
They tried to tie another ladder onto the top of that thing to get a further reach too.
So he had a heart attack while he was hanging upside down?
Yeah, I think he threw a blood clot. He never did come back. To work.
Captain Franklin?
He was a good guy.
Yeah. Well, he went by us, on the stretcher there, taking him out.
He was a public relations.
Right. I remember reading
And
it.
Howard Weiss had said a story when because
Yeah.
he was the city public information officer, Howie Weiss was. And when he came to the fire, he was talking to the TPD PIO, and he said, well, where's the TFD PIO? And the TPD PIO said, there he is, hanging upside down.
Would there be any air rescue at all? If people had gone, was the roof too hot? Had people known to go up? Was there the possibility of anything?
Davis Mothin, or
was there any?
Couldn't get up there.
There's no way to
No.
do that.
No way to get
Not
up
up those stairwells, they were.
There's no way to get above the penthouse.
I
That's
see.
where the Steinbecks were. Everything was locked.
I see.
There down.
were there any bodies found at that door that was welded shut?
Not that I'm aware of. They knew it was welded shut. They knew they couldn't get in there. And I don't know of any bodies all the bodies that come down where I was at, except the ones that I helped down the steps. And the last one slipped in my back, so I didn't get to the mezzanine, that's as far as I got. But all the rest of them were in bags or being dried.
Was there any debriefing? Paul, I'll come back to Polk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because I helped carry him out.
No,
We put him on a chair because the only thing we had that we could carry him, and Reuben Grace and I and we put a sheet around him, and then we tied him to the chair and tipped the chair back. And I took the top, and Reuben took the bottom, and we walked it down the stairwell.
This is Paul's dad.
Went out to the street, and then turned him
10:03.
over to the ambulance.
10:03.
He was way up there.
He moved up to a suite because he was here. He was a trial lawyer, and he was here on a case. The government was suing the oil companies for price fixing for gasoline. Even in 1970, they were doing that.
The same issues, isn't it?
So Judge Walsh had said, "Boys, you better make arrangements because we're going to work through the holidays." And so I was 4, my brother was 3 months old. And so by the grace of God, we were not able to fly out because my brother had an ear infection. Otherwise, I would have been gone.
Did he open the door or the smoke inhalation?
Well, I'm not shocked.
Well, the guy, I didn't find him, but some other guys found him. They had trouble getting the door open, and they found his dad at the base of the door. The room was full of soot, smoke, but it wasn't indication that the door was open. When they finally got it open, and they laid him on the bed, and that's when I came in, and Reuben and I were taking him out of that room. No indication that the fire got in there, but it was just smoke and soot. And I think that he was overcome by it at the door.
Guys, was there any, after the fire, was there any kind of, I don't know how they describe it, a debriefing or a retrospect for, because there were so many that were involved, was there anything that the department did as a group or for individuals to go back and to, number one, to revisit the lessons of the fire, or number two, any kind of counseling? If I don't know if that even existed in that day. Was there anything that...
No, like I said, about the only thing was training video afterwards showing going in trying to start that carpet and stuff on fire.
And today, and at that time, nobody had cameras, obviously, right? There wasn't any such thing as a camera on a... That was filmed by whom, though?
But that was a
TV channel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think
Okay.
one of the TV channels was asked to film it, and they were told that at some point they would be allowed to use that to create a story for the news. They never were allowed to because I think that flashover was so significant that that the decision was made. This is not to be made any public.
They're basically, the whole fire, deaths and everything, was basically a bad spot on Tucson. So it was, today you would say it was covered up. Or swept under the rug.
Right, exactly.
And that's like with Lewis Taylor. Bill Martin says he caused the whole thing. I don't believe that. I believe he was a victim of the thing. He might have started the fire, but he didn't realize what to do. The fault lies within the pioneer and the city. The city for not forcing a code that they should have forced. The pioneer for not doing anything. And like you pointed out, they're sort of still sitting in the building. They never did anything. It was a cost factor. It's still a cost factor. If they did something earlier, this would have never happened. It did. So you can't back up.
Did the city get tougher from your standpoints? Did they, after that, did they go to all the other buildings that had retro issues and do anything, or no?
The only thing they did, they give the fire department more money, got a 140-foot ladder, extendable ladder, so you go up 140 foot in the air, a lot of hose and stuff, but Peterson got a much bigger budget.
I had seen a budget request that was made in May of 1970, and it was for new hoses because the report, the budget request said that the hoses were too old and they were beginning to fray, and there was a budget request for a new pumper, and essentially everything that Peterson was asking for was they said no. Now, would those additional hoses made a difference? Would that additional pumper have made a difference? Who knows?
We don't know, because we didn't even collect.
Yeah, we got the lift platform,
Helped a little bit because it would reach up a little higher.
We're talking about that platform that's out there.
Now, the other thing I would have done
Across the
is
room.
closest to, well.
Oh, no, the Aero Chief, they bought right
And they
out.
did the line of testing and then to come up with.
Yeah, it's a heavy rig, but that was one where we were trained, because I.
But it was really eerie after everybody
To go
left,
up,
I was there.
come into a person, so you don't go up the side of the building in case they jump
I
on.
was going to ask
Till
if
8 o'clock in the morning, the new shift came on.
talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was really eerie because we had to walk and go through all the rooms, just back and forth, to make sure we didn't have a rekindle, some spark that we didn't see. And it was really eerie because it was just really quiet. Nothing, little drips here and there, but it was a funny feeling.